Hello, hello, hello. And today I will be making you a quick tutorial, a very easy one at that, about a sand material that you can use for pretty much all sands that you will do. And it is flexible, you can also add stuff into it, and we will be using some stuff that you may have never used before. Okay, first of all, go to your render properties, change the feature set from, in your case, supported to experimental. Then go to the modifiers of your object where you want your texture to be on, and add a subdivision and tick this adaptive subdivision here. What this does is basically the closer we get to a material, the more subdivisions it gets in like a camera view or if or from the viewport. This is very helpful because our material will need a lot of subdivisions, and as such, we are not killing our performance with just having to stack subdivisions on like a very large object. So you can just use this, and this basically adjusts the subdivisions to most of the time always look good. Okay. The last thing we will do is go down to material and change the displacement from, in your case, bump only to displacement and bump. And then we can start. The first thing that we will do is we will bring in a wave texture, and this wave texture will be the base for our general options here. Okay, let's preview it. Control T, delete the mapping, object into vector, and bring this to here. We want a scale of around 1.5, but again, this can depend on the size of your object and how small or big you want the waves in your sand to be. Distortion of 6 to get a little bit of uncertainty in there. Obviously, we're maxing out the detail because that's just how we do things around here, and the rest stays the same. Now we are going to bring in a noise texture and drop this into here. This obviously gets rid of all waves, so what we'll do is we'll select this, Control 0, bring in a mix node, take all the things, bring them back, mix into vector, bring the noise texture down to color 2, and take the object and bring it up to color 1, and then bring in the factor down to 0.3 or 0.2. I quite like a 0.3, but you can do you and use your settings. Then, in the noise texture, changing the scale to 6.7, roughness up to max, roughness details up to max, roughness up to a 8.5 or 8.5, and distortion up to a 0.2. This looks pretty cool, and we can use this basically as our basic displacement, which we will do in a second. But first, we will bring in our basic color ramp. So just bring in a color ramp, drop this into here, and let's preview this. And let's make it like a sand that kind of looks like this. So something along those lines, probably. I think this looks pretty cool, but again, we will see more of this once we basically do the displacement and actually look at this stuff. Let's change the roughness to a 0.2, just because it's sand, and sand is not 0.2, 0.8, just because sand usually doesn't reflect much, so a 0.8 should do the trick. Let's bring this up to here. And now let's do the following. Let's get in a, sorry, let's bring this up a bit more, and let's bring in another noise texture. Bring this up to here. Object into vector. Let's preview it. This stays this way, that this is fine. Control 0, bring in a mix node. This up to here. Vector is fine. Let's bring in a color ramp here. Plug this into here, and let's bring this up to like around here. And now we want a Voronoi texture, and this Voronoi texture can go up to here. Object into vector. Let's preview it again. This will be our small sand details. Basically, this will be the individual rocks that sand is made of, so you can pump this scale up to like a 400. Around that looks probably good. Just so you can see like the small things, not anymore, but you have like a very general just texture. And then let's bring this into this. Let's preview it again. And you can see we have a very nice sand texture, and we can exchange this with this now. Let's preview it. That immediately looks more like sand, but of course now we are missing the general bump node, right? So how do we do that? We get in a displacement node. So let's drop in the displacement node here, displacement into displacement, and let's bring in this wave texture. This wave texture goes into the height, and this is overkill. So how do we solve this? With a color ramp. Bring in a color ramp here, drag the black a bit further, and we change this white to more of a gray. So something like this probably. And then just bring down the scale to like a 0.05. It's a bit too little. 0.1. Oh, 0.1 could be, and then we just use that and control a bit more. So just like that probably. That looks pretty cool. Let's bring the mid-level up to like 0.7. Yeah, that looks pretty cool, I think. Could be a bit too much. I think it could even get this down a bit if you want, but I think I like this like this. The color is just a bit not cool, so let's adjust that. That looks better, right? Definitely looks better. And now let's change, and then let's bring in a bump map as well. So just bump here, bump into normal, and then just drag and drop this color into this height. And we'll do this again. So duplicate the bump, normal into normal, and get this Voronoi right here and bring this also into the height. And now we have a pretty cool sandy material which even holds up when you zoom in. You could of course add this to like 600 if you really want like smaller things, right? Or bring up the subdivision if you need more subdivision to it. Like you can see we might need like a bit more subdivision here, then you can just go into here and put the levels up to 3 and it looks better. But that's just something that you have to play around with. But yeah, this is our very, very simple and but effective sand texture. Of course, you can alter this however you want, but this is the basics of it. And I hope I could help some people, and see you next time. Bye bye.